And what's going on to my sports junkies, my for-lifers, my diehards, and the sad little people whose team ain't never won a damn thing. But hey, I can relate. Welcome to all my listeners, whether you're watching on YouTube or tuning in audio only. This is another episode of Break the Huddle podcast. I'm your humble host, Don Deuce, and we keep it real around here. No media spins, no sugarcoating, just honest talk about what everyone in the stands is thinking. But don't worry, we start with sports and we end with sports. Either way, we break it all down here. So grab your jersey, settle in, and let's break the huddle.
Who's got my back? Who's got my back? I got your back. Who's got my back? I got your back. Who got that swerve? I got that swerve.
And before we kick things off, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe on YouTube, and follow Break the Huddle on all your favorite platforms. Whether you're watching or listening, don't miss out on any of the real talk we got coming your way. All right, let's get into it. I'm here to talk about Super Bowl contenders, and I believe the cream is rising to the top because Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are a match made in heaven. I promise y'all, this is the craziest thing we've ever seen. We got to talk about the demolition job the Baltimore Ravens put on the Denver Broncos today in this 41-10 victory. It wasn't an anticipated showdown just because the Denver Broncos defense has been playing pretty decently these past couple weeks, and we wanted to see how the Baltimore Ravens would hold up, and I would say that they held up pretty well, and they've exceeded expectations. Gang, come on, look. Lamar Jackson had a perfect passer rating of 158.3, the fourth time in his career. He threw for 280 and 3 tutties. But I found an interesting stat to go along with that. With his fourth perfect passer rating today, Jackson is now the first player in NFL history to hit the 158.3 mark 4 times in games with at least 15 pass attempts. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Kurt Warner, and Ben Roethlisberger are the only quarterbacks to do it 3 other times. Come on, bruh. He leads the pack. Lamar Jackson is doing some interesting shit every single week. Every time he lays him up, you don't know what you're going to get, but you know you're going to get some excellence. And I know what you're saying. Don, stop glazing. Hey, it's well-deserved. What can I say? He's throwing for over 250 on only 19 pass attempts. He doesn't even have to pass it because you got Derrick Henry controlling the game. You got him consistently controlling the game. Derrick Henry is averaging 6.3 yards per carry on the season. I want y'all to know that means they are second and short almost every time he touched the ball. They're almost second and short, third and short, almost every single time. And that just keeps the chains moving. That keeps everybody on schedule. That keeps the other offense off the field. And that keeps the defense on the field. And that keeps you tired because Derrick Henry is just going to keep pounding the rock over and over and over and over again. And then when you want to stack the box, guess what? Lamar Jackson is accurate enough to throw it wherever he needs it to go. And you got Zay Flowers coming alive these past couple weeks, and it's really starting to show. This offense is starting to gel, it's starting to click, and Zay Flowers is showing his maturity as a receiver. Now, with trading for Deontay Johnson earlier in the week, that gave this receiving core an extra added boost because I would like to see a little bit more from Rashad Bateman, but with Deontay Johnson in the lineup, as the weeks go on, you'll probably start to see a lot more workload go towards his way while freeing up more looks for Zay Flowers, which is what everybody wants. D. Henry ran for $106 and 2 tutties today, marking his 100th and 101st career rushing touchdowns, joining some elite company with his 7th straight season of at least 10 rushing touchdowns, with only LaDainian Tomlinson and Adrian Peterson the only ones to ever do that. Brother, it's week 9 and Derrick Henry's over 1,000 yards. There's a lot more season to play. He's cooking right now, and we got to give him that. Lamar Jackson currently leads the NFL in passing yards, 2,379, and passing touchdowns with 20, while Derrick Henry currently leads the NFL in rushing yards for 1,037 and 11 rushing touchdowns. Like, how can we doubt this offense? The only thing I worry about the Baltimore Ravens is is the pass defense going to hold up? Because when you get down into the playoffs, you got all these elite quarterbacks that you're going up against, that you're facing. And to have a bottom half pass defense in the league, that's kind of scary to me. I don't know. Will that back end of that defense hold up? That's going to be the question mark going forward. But every other thing about this team just makes sense. Kyle Van Noy, top 10 in sacks. They pressure the quarterback. The Ravens look impressive. I'm not going to be a hater because all I see is a team Super Bowl bound. And I mean from start to finish, just looks like a complete team. But once again, I'm holding my breath against that pass defense. Lamar is pretty much on his way to a third MVP, while Derrick Henry's on his way to an Offensive Player of the Year. And I just don't see how any defense could really, truly stop this. And then with the added weapons, it just seems like a pick-your-poison type of offense that I don't think any team wants to see down in the playoffs. And I know what you're saying. Oh, well, Don, the Chiefs are still undefeated. Yeah, but the Chiefs' offense is still struggling. Pat Mahomes don't really look like Pat Mahomes. He's still a magician. He's still doing what he got to do. But what's going to happen when a defense requires Pat Mahomes to really pass the ball and really sling it, and that offense, and it really requires that offense to really click on all cylinders, which is something we have yet to see all season. I've seen it with the Ravens. Can you really say you've seen it with the Kansas City Chiefs? I don't know. And moving on to the NFC, listen, the Detroit Lions are on a collision course to the Super Bowl. I know nobody wants to hear that because for my life and probably some older people's lives, the Detroit Lions have been a poverty franchise, but not today. Not this year. Dan Campbell got them boys humming, y'all. I'm being dead serious. We got to seriously look at the Detroit Lions as the best team in the NFC, top 3 team in the NFL. They're winning in different ways. There's no flukes. The Detroit Lions, 24-14 win over the Green Bay Packers, to me was impressive. It was raining hard. That's when you don't got a lot of grip on the ball. Jared Goff is out there with 2 gloves. I've never seen a quarterback play with 2 gloves. This was Detroit's first outdoor game of the season, and they still proved they can handle all the tough conditions. Look, with this win, the Lions moved to 7-1 for the first time since 1956, solidifying their lead in the NFC North. This game was really interesting to me because Green Bay outgained Detroit 411 to 261. Punch it in. They couldn't get it in the end zone. And look, let me tell you why the Detroit Lions are on their way to the Super Bowl. Because Jared Goff completes his first 11 passes, finishing 18-22 for just $145 and a touchdown. So, and over his last 6 games, Jared Goff has been ridiculously efficient, completed 82% of his passes with a 140.1 passer rating, which is literally the best over any stretch in NFL history. And when you just look at it, the control, the composure, and this difficult weather were key to the Lions' success today. The Packers just couldn't really get anything done today. They had 4 red zone trips that resulted in only 1 touchdown and 2 field goals. Those missed chances were costly because that kept them from taking the lead. And one thing I take away from this game is that the Lions defense, right? One thing I'll take away from this Lions game is that the defense did a lot of bending, but they didn't break. And when you see when a defense comes up in opportune times, making plays, sacks, pressures, when they could do that in critical moments, that tells me that team knows when to turn it on. That team knows when it's time to run away with a game. It's time to make a play. It's got to have it. And that's just something I'm not really seeing from any other NFC team this season, other than the Lions. They're winning in different ways, and we got to respect that. Listen, that run game is continuing to be dynamic. It's continuing to be strong, and they're still rolling. With the weather conditions as it was today, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs combined for $138 and a touchdown on the ground to solidify that victory. And it's those very things that give me confidence to believe that the Lions are going to the Super Bowl. They could mix it up. They could kill you on the ground. They could kill you in the air. However you want to do it, they're going to do it. However you want to fight, they can fight. And if you really had to ask me if what the MVP race of the NFL looks like, I'd tell you it's Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and Jared Goff. Those are the 3 best players in the NFL to me right now. Just because they got their teams moving forward, they got their teams locked in, and they got their teams looking like a formidable opponent, for real. J. Love and the Packers got a little bit of work to do. I think you're going to see them in the playoffs regardless. That NFC North division is a tough, tough division. I genuinely see 3 teams coming out of that division. Hopefully the Packers and the Vikings keep it up, but the NFC North is a tough, tough division. So I think it's even more impressive to see the Lions sitting at the top. That's just me. All right. We won't really get too much into the game, but we do have to talk about this Saints-Panthers game, where the Panthers defeated the Saints 23-22. Now, I'm always happy when Bryce Young does anything good in the NFL. Cheers. Clap it up for Bryce Young. Clap it up for Bryce Young. Yeah, yeah. But we got to talk about what Derek Carr is doing to his receivers. Now, the word has been out that Derek Carr has been throwing his receivers hospital balls. He's been getting them killed. And he's not protecting his receivers. Now I'll let you watch this play that happened to Chris Olave. Sorry for my audio listeners.
From the near side, and Derek Carr throws high to Olave. Ooh, boy, he took a hit. That's going to be a defenseless receiver. Flags came flying everywhere.
Now, to me, I did think that ball was semi-catchable. Maybe a bigger body receiver could have withstand that blow. But that's what they're saying about Derek Carr. He's throwing his receivers hospital balls. Chris Olave was taken away from this game on a stretcher. And at this point, he's suffered at least 3 documented concussions in his NFL career, 1 at Ohio State. So he's had 4 since 2020. And that's not good. But ex-Saints wide receiver took to Twitter to express his displeasure or his anger on Derek Carr. So Michael Thomas had a series of tweets after Chris Olave being taken out on a stretcher. Derek Carr for you. I've been told y'all shit's sad. Dude's scary and panic and just throw the ball. Get him the F out of here. He's so ass. That year his buddy went first team All-Pro in 2022. He needed 180 targets just to catch 100 passes. He is ass. On my granny. God damn, on my granny? See, on my mama, now, I've seen some dudes lie on their mama. I ain't never seen a nigga lie on his granny. Dude tried to lie and say I was jealous of that, making Chris wide receiver 1. Whole time, he can't even get him a decent ball. He need his ass whooped. Damn, Michael Thomas, tell me how you really feel. They fired all them coaches trying to cover up his flaws, but he's still doing the same shit. I'll be honest, he is doing the same shit. Derek Carr is just not that guy, buddy. They started off 2-0 in the season, and I thought, oh my God, the Saints have arrived. Derek Carr is in motion. And ever since then, it's been an absolute train wreck. He got hurt a couple games, and Spencer Rattler came in, and now he's back in, and now he's still killing his receivers. It's just, week in and week out, Derek Carr just looks worse and worse. He's just he's really not a good quarterback. And I think at this point in time, I'm almost ready to relegate Derek Carr to being a backup. And luckily, the Saints are that bad, but they do have good players. And honestly, if they tank, they could draft a quarterback. Who's to say Shedeur Sanders can't get drafted to the Saints and maybe turn that franchise around, or Cam Ward? I don't know, man. That might be a good, suitable place for a good young quarterback to want to try and end up. You heard what Deion said. If the fit ain't right, they're going to pull a Eli Manning. So, but when it comes to Michael Thomas, I don't think he comes off as like a jealous ex-player. He comes off more so like a Saints fan, like a guy that's been part of that community, that's been part of that team, part of winning culture in New Orleans. And what he's used to, he don't know nothing about that. He's seeing how ass Derek Carr is being for this organization. And he's seeing the ground that he's running it in. I think Michael Thomas is well in his rights to express his feelings on Derek Carr. And I don't look at it like hating shit. Bro asked a random fan in New Orleans how he felt about Derek Carr. Rolled down his window and everything. Look at this.
Tell me about Derek Carr, man.
I don't like that shit.
You don't like him?
I don't like him, man.
What's wrong with him?
He doesn't know how to play. He just always keep the ball like this.
Man, that's crazy. You know that.
Yeah.
You smart. You get my respect. I gotta show my dad this.
You better trade the quarterback, man.
Yeah, trade him?
Yeah.
All right.
That's fucked up. Even the guy that I don't think knows too much about football knows that Derek Carr is playing bad football. That's next level hating shit. And I'm fine with that. Because he's right. Derek Carr, they do need a quarterback change, but who are they going to go to? Spencer Rattler? I don't know. He didn't look too ready when he was in. But it is what it is. The Saints might as well just tank for the rest of the season. Saints, Giants, just keep tanking, bro. Just keep tanking and your quarterback dreams will come true. Best believe. All right, y'all. That's it for another episode of Break the Huddle podcast. Be sure to follow, like, subscribe on all your favorite platforms, and let's keep growing this thing. I'm Don Deuce, and I'm out.
Who's got my back? Who's got my back? Who's got my back? Who's got that swerve?